Well, I'm not even going to do an introduction this time because, to be honest with you, I don't even know if this is going to work. And I say that because I actually backed this Kickstarter campaign for Tiny, the AI pocket device. Now, there is a bit of an interesting backstory to this, much like all of my Tim Unscripted videos, and especially a how-to video like this. Now, mind you, there is no device just yet, but there is a GitHub repository. In fact, there is something more than that, which is there's this, TurboSparse and PowerInfer. The repo is this. This is the secret sauce as well. It's a lot of stuff that I don't fully understand, but I thought would be interesting enough to actually record a how-to video. And I'm not even going to try to explain it other than evidently it works. Evidently it was at the Consumer Electronics Show earlier in the year in 2026. Evidently there's a Guinness Book of World Records associated with this. So without any further delay, let's get into this. All right. So here it is. This is the GitHub open source repo for PowerInfer. It all looks like what I'm used to seeing from the standpoint of a publicly available repo under, a public use license. But what really piqued my attention, and it goes back to the whole reason why you're seeing this run on my System76 laptop, which is what if this tooling, similar to the experiment that I ran with the LLM 5.2, allowed me to run a pretty stinking big large language model, maybe not efficiently, but one that actually would exceed the normal capacity of the hardware. And since I've already set up the system RAM to act as video RAM for the integrated GPU, I went, oh, you know what? Why not? Hey, if it fails, we've all learned something. So effectively, this video is going to be, let me follow the instructions, see if this actually works. And maybe, just maybe, I can run a 40 billion parameter model. Although, honestly, I haven't even checked to see if this is a mixture of experts model. And that seems to be the difference with a lot of these models that really do exceed 32 gigs worth of memory space. Now, I will come down here and I will tell you that I would say this llama model, yeah, that's easy. That's not going to happen. But this Falcon, that might happen. And of course, this ProSparse and certainly Bamboo models. In fact, I downloaded the Bamboo model thinking that I could do a little bit of model file adjustment in order to make it work with Hermes and with OpenClaw. Yeah, that didn't work. So, and I might have recorded a video about that. But if I didn't, trust me, it didn't work. So let's think through this. These are GGUF compiled models. So I know for a fact that they will run with Olama and they will actually run pulled from Hugging Face and run on the hardware. But because of the size of the models, not the smaller ones, but yeah, like that 40 billion parameter model right there, that Falcon, that is the challenge. So I'm just going to follow the instructions and we're going to see where this goes. And yeah, you can do yourself a favor if you're interested, and you can go to, Tiny-AI PowerInfer to see this yourself. And, I've never done an installation like this, so you're really seeing me go way outside my comfort zone. So what am I going to have to do? I'm actually going to have to pull up VS Code, it appears, or maybe not. Maybe I can get away with doing this in the terminal. Let's see. And this, of course, is from my last experience, so clear. Control-Shift-V. Oh, darn it. And a lot of this just has to do with the way that the permissions are set up on Pop! OS that prevent me from pulling stuff down. So let's at least get this done. Okay, so this is pulling down the repo from GitHub. So let's try this then. CD PowerInfer. Okay, so we're there, which is good. And then, can it be done? Of course not. Can't be done. Not at this rate. What can be done? All right. I'm going to flip, and I know, guys, this is boring, and this is actually probably one of the reasons why I'm going to speed this up. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to show you what I'm going to pull across. So, and I'm going to do it. I'm just going to pull Perplexity across. I want to do this. Explain how I can make this work on the Pangolin 15. This is actually the way I do it. This is how this happens. It's not magic. It's just me using Perplexity. And I did get a comment about Perplexity, and point well taken, commenter. I understand. Definitely the respect for intellectual property is one of the challenges that is broad in this space. And maybe there is some merit to your claim. I don't know. And by the way, I really do appreciate the comments above and beyond the ones that are laudatory, that are nice. They're great, and thank you. Keep them coming. Like and subscribe. That's always helpful as well. But also the feedback where it seems like more fluff than substance, or I'm not really sure how to track your stuff. Honestly, because this is unscripted and because I ultimately am doing what you would probably do on your own. The difference is I'm doing it on video. So I'm not really planning any of this out. I am kind of executing and showing you what's happening. So bear with me. If this isn't your cup of tea, find a better channel. I mean, there are definitely better channels out there. And I'm not asking you to drop my stuff. I'm just saying this is the way I learn. This is the way that I figure stuff out. For as many years as I've been in the technology field, and I say this with a lot of training, a lot of experience, academic and you know, classroom laboratory time, for me, this is still the most effective way to keep me fresh and keep me thinking and iterate and going the distance. This is more fun than what I ever learned in a college classroom. And I learned a lot. And so I'm not throwing shade against college. I'm just saying, if you want to really push yourself and go on the edge, this is a way of getting it done. Believe me, this is not comfortable because I know anybody can take a look at my channel. Anybody can take a look at one of these videos and go, you know what? You're such a charlatan. You're such a fake. You're such a hypocrite, whatever. Honestly, here's the controversy. And again, I'm going to point it directly at those people who don't like the channel and don't like the videos. I'm going to challenge you. And I'm going to ask you a simple question. What have you done? I'm waiting. And I'm not going to wait for forever on a video, but I'm waiting. Because until and unless you can come up with something better and actually challenge the premise that I'm demonstrating, I'll wait. And this is not ego. Honestly. If you saw my I love me wall over here and the rack of ribbons and all the other accolades that I earned the hard way in the military, I got nothing to prove, folks. I am literally having fun. Well, this may be that serious, mic drop moment that everybody hopes for, that some people are actually bold enough to say out loud and do it in public on YouTube, like I just did. I'm not here for you. I'm simply not. And so the channel is evolved enough and got enough interest that this is the public challenge. Step up. Do something bold. Do something that you're uncomfortable with. Because you can see I'm doing it. I'm not waiting. There is no perfect time on this. Actually, there is a perfect time, and it's right now. So let's get back to the substance of the video, because, what this boils down to is I just genuinely don't know if this is even remotely going to work. So the hardware reality, and this is also this is a point where I do make a pivot or die decision. I am a firm believer that I can avoid sunk cost fallacy, and I'm already 11 minutes and some odd seconds into the video. And if it looks like, after reading through this, that it's just simply not worth the time, guess what, folks? This is a short video. So 96 gig of RAM is genuinely your superpower here. Most models are offloaded the CPU and PowerInfer benefit enormously from large fast RAM. And is faster. The DDR5 5600 megahertz RAM is faster than many server configurations the paper benchmarks against. All right, so it looks like it can be done. All right, so we've got here's what it is. This is the secret sauce that I was missing. So, okay, sudo cmake. This is going to be interesting. So I'm wondering why, though, that it's, I probably should have come here first, because I went directly here. Oh no, that shouldn't. You know what? I can back out if I need to. All right, Control Shift V. All right. Yeah. I've got a 2 terabyte drive. I am not overly concerned about this, because even if I didn't have the space, I could. Oh, and I think I got rid of GLM 5.2. So freed up a significant amount of disk space for that. All right. So that's that. Let's flip back over here. So got that done now. This is where I think I'm going to run this direction. And let's do that. So come back over here and Control Shift V. That looks good. That looks positive. Now you understand why I go to Perplexity for actual working stuff, because it really cuts down the amount of troubleshooting that I do in the long run. Now, mind you, I can't guarantee this is actually going to work. In fact, walking into this, and the whole reason why I let off, I don't. I'm banking on the fact that yes, this may do the deal. So while this is doing all this install here, and we're over halfway through it, I think the tougher thing is just going to be probably figuring out the Olama piece, which I'm more than likely I'm going to flip over to one of the Olama tabs that I've already got running that's in, the home directory, because I really just don't want to mess around with a bunch of stuff, which is probably gonna be the next step here. Yeah, so this, download the model and start small. Hi. This is go big or go home. I can face, oh, it's even saying I can face CLI. Huh. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm just gonna do this self-contained. But oh, seriously. What we are gonna do is we're gonna take the big model. We are definitely going with the big model, which is the 40 billion. So it's going to be the Falcon model. Let me go over here to this small thinker, turbo sparse, mixed rule. I'm noticing, and by the way, I noticed there was a huge time gap from when the last one was updated. So they've committed fewer models, but I do want this. Okay. So folks, part of this is finding that 40 billion parameter model, and it may not even be, oh, here we go. Falcon ReLU 40 billion predictor. So this and PowerInfer. This is where I'm going. I don't want tiny. Maybe this is going to work. No. Hmm. Okay. I may have to do it the way that Perplexity maps it out. Hmm. Okay. Not ideal. I'm saying that's not found. All right. So that is not the problem. This, by the way, is how I do my troubleshooting with Perplexity. And come back here. And honestly, it might just be. Oh, come on. I don't think I have a model loaded. Llama, well, and this is where I come here and I do this. Which F dot C oh, slash that. Oh crap. Truly, this is where it gets hit and miss. All right. Makes me go, "Ooh, think that I might do." I'm going to pull that and I'm just going to type in manually what I want. while also doing this. So dash local var this. Oh, why is this? Yeah, this is really frustrating. Yeah, put this back over. Oh, stuck on step 3. I tried the bean face CLI and to pull the model directly from Llama. See the messages below. This is the way it gets done. This is the hard way. There's no easy way to make it happen. And yeah, this is boring, and I get it. But again, this is really to show you how difficult, how challenging sometimes this is. I do a lot of stuff that cuts out all this crap. Oh, well, there we go. That might, oh, seriously. So I installed all the Python dependencies except for this. And this is probably going to end up being a sudo apt install. But maybe, just maybe. Yep. Let's go back over here. No. Actually, let's adapt what we started with. Sudo apt install cmake. Yeah. Okay. Sudo apt install for the hf CLI. This is the reason why you don't see. It's just, oh, there's no apt. All right. So there's a bash. Let's get back here. Don't need to see this. All right. This is going to be closer, so I'm not messing around here. All right. Much better. Okay, so how do I get back to where? HF help. Oh my word. HF login. I don't want that one. No. That's the thing. Okay, fine. This is the reason. So I'm wondering. I'm wondering if something changed where they're not. Well, no. Let's take a look at this. Really, Falcon. Yeah, that's why. It's no longer PowerInfer. Let's do this. Okay, so this is really local assemblies. Maybe that's the deal. It may just need to be local DRL. Hmm. This is just. It's time consuming. I'm not going to lie. Oh, look at that. All right. Now we're off to the races. And what we can do, once this is done, we'll be able to download that 40 billion parameter model. And how long? It's almost done, is it? Yeah, the 40 billion parameter model is going to be a lot longer. Um, we're 30 minutes into the video. This is precisely why I don't show you all the wiring as I'm doing things, because I really like to show you the end result. But hopefully this helps from the standpoint of giving you an idea of what the time investment is going to be like when you're doing it on your own. So I'm going to get this first smaller model up and running before I shift to do the download of the 40 billion parameter model, which is really going to be the stress test to see if it actually moves fast enough with that dedicated system memory. And this is going to be where I'm probably going to be scrolling up and down the screen in perplexity, seeing if this is actually going to work. There's just, there's no quick and easy way. In fact, here's the other thing. So it's saying it's going to be about 19 minutes ish. And we're still not. Yeah. Evidently it's downloading the last two largest files. So what I am going to do is I'm going to put a pause on this. Once this is done, we'll resume. We'll get back into the other wiring piece. And we know for a fact that we've got the PowerInfer set up over here. So this is already done. Looks like it's good to go. Hopefully it will be, keeping our fingers crossed on this one. But the model is always going to be the longest pole in the tent as far as the download is concerned. And no ETA, it says nominally, well, I don't even know. I really don't know. This is the weirdest thing. I normally would get some sort of update indicator as to how much time there is remaining, but this is the weirdest thing where I can't tell you. So let's wait and see. So put it on pause. Once I have an indicator that everything is good to go, I'll bring it back at 30 plus minutes into the video recording. So see you in a minute. All right, we're back. And yeah, it took about 45 minutes to an hour to get this thing downloaded. And this is only the 7 billion parameter model. Folks, downloading that 40 billion parameter model, that Falcon, that's going to be an overnight download, to say the least. So what I am going to do is I'm going to finish the steps on this one to show you that it actually works, and then kick off the process. This video is probably going to be one of the longer running videos as far as the Tim Unscripted how-to is concerned. So I'm doing this on Friday. More than likely, this is going to wrap up in its current state Saturday. So if you've been watching the channel, you know that I spend my weekends recording content, showing you none of this is easy, but you know what is so rewarding. So let's get back into this. By the way, I pulled up Perplexity. I'm like, okay, what is my next step? This is what I walked into the living room. I did some Netflix and chill. It's Friday night, folks. I've got young adult daughters. Everybody's out of that. I have no adult supervision tonight. Anyhow, yeah, so we got that. This will be, I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I think we're good with this. Now it's just really checking to see if everything is where it's supposed to be. All right. And is it? Yes. Okay. This is what I was looking for right here. It is there. And it is, what is my directory again? PowerInfer. Okay. And all of this is the entire file set. So go back. Oh, shoot. Yeah, this is the worst part. Sometimes I forget because I'm running Rust desk in order to get into the Linux notebook, and the Linux notebook is down here. I'm looking at one of my two displays over here to the right. I am dead on with the camera. I've got the other display. It is really challenging at times to keep all of this straight. But again, this is me showing you the way it works. I am sure that I have posted, and if not, maybe, you know what? I'm going to take a pause right now, and I'm going to throw up on the screen the actual home studio image so that you guys can see how the home studio is set up sans the laptop. Because when I'm working from home, I've got the work laptop, I've got a client laptop. This ends up going under this is how Tim Unscripted works. This is like, I break everything down from work from home, put the Tim Unscripted stuff up. Until you see this photo, you're not going to believe me. But I'm going to put it on pause. I'm going to pull it up in my Google Photos so that you can see that, this is legit. This is not me making stuff up. And there you go. This is the home setup. And that mic is this mic right here. Although I don't have the Stream Deck thing working right now. And this is a Vocaster 2 that I'm broadcasting from, recording all of this. Lighting setup, a little bit of retirement thing over here from the United States. And I know this probably doesn't interest you, but this is really the magic of Tim Unscripted, that it is me doing the home office studio The Bucky's stuff is real. I was talking to a guy from Repo the other day. Folks, this is not, this is me doing a thing. Camtasia, Audiate, none, none of this. No one is funding this but me because I genuinely enjoy what I get to do. Oh, by the way, Corsair, Elgato, Corsair in the background. You don't see it. It's one of the Corsair 1 i500 series. And this is pretty much the way it works out. And that's where I set up the client laptop. I've got a cooling pad that's over here with the System76. I'm not rambling intentionally, but what I'm really doing is I'm giving you kind of a behind the scenes look at the way that things actually work in my home office / recording studio to let you know that I am truly a legit guy on the internet doing things that, by and large, it's all experimental, So let's get back into this, Friday Night Fun for Tim Unscripted. If we got a prompt, this is the execution script with PowerInfer, hopefully running in the background. I have no idea whether or not this is going to work. I am holding my breath, hoping that we have a result. Oh, seriously. No such file or directory. All right. So what we did, this is me going back, doing what I do. This is the real deal troubleshooting. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm also going to show where PowerInfer is installed. Okay, so right click, copy, and then come back here. This is the power of having a really great research tool. And of course, it's going to tell me, oh, by the way, this is the way that you need to do this. So find PowerInfer main binary. Oh, okay. And that's probably what I forgot. I forgot the build step. Oh, yeah, this is going to jack me up. This is a bad thing. Oh, seriously. Okay. Long. Let's start. Yeah. It's hit and miss. This is just the way it works sometimes. I'm not sure why it's showing the on stuff because this is running through the Hugging Face, or should be running through the Hugging Face CLI. Yeah, great. Wonderful. All right. Seriously. Inside PowerInfer repo. But I don't think the change directory command is going to be right, so I'm going to use a little bit of judgment on this. Yeah. Good. And there we have it. And I should have put a verbose flag up just to see that it actually works. But that was it. We successfully did the thing. So now the next thing is to download that larger model, and we've got all the timing. And by the way, since I've never run Hugging Face CLI, this is new for me. This is really kind of interesting. I don't know how to make heads or tails of any of this. I mean, Olama with a verbose flag is a little bit easier to understand. If y'all can help me, this is, wow, it's a lot of detail. So we know that this runs. And now, wow, holy man, the tensor load and everything else. This is a lot. So what I'm actually doing here is I'm going to copy this over because what I want is to do a build analysis and show and kind of get some feedback because some of this is interesting from the standpoint of whatever Perplexity is going to say about this. Of course, it's going to say, "Oh yeah, great, successfully executed the build, went flawlessly." Blah. Oh, there we go. It's alive. Yes, of course it's alive. But now what I want to do is I want to adapt this, pull that Falcon, and get that running. So let's get back over here to this. which is the Falcon, which is really, this is going to be like, this is the test. Again, it goes back to, can we load this up in the 32 gigabytes worth of system RAM that's allocated to the GPU? I'm sorry, the iGPU, E external GPU, I internal GPU. That is not a discrete GPU installed in the laptop. This is the experiment that I want to run. Running a 7 billion parameter model, I know this works. This is low hanging fruit. This 40 billion parameter model, which I'm going to have to cut it off tonight and then resume tomorrow. This is the proof in the pudding that a way of working, or a way of getting a model that large, working CPU, blah, if this type of code can do it on this particular laptop with that memory hack in place, it really shows you the art of the possible. This kind of expands what your capability might be if you've got a really beefy laptop and you can do this type of, Linux-based, variable adjustments and command line. Again, this is like, this reminds me of the days when we used to do a lot of things in MS-DOS, Microsoft DOS, disk operating system. I didn't grow up with Linux. I grew up with DOS. Again, the H thing. So a lot of this is taking me back years, and it's fun and it's terrifying because I never thought in my adult life that I would be doing this, recording it, editing it, posting it to what is now a social media. None of this is not what I had on my bucket list, but you know what? That's okay. That is okay. So I want to download this model and make it run like the 7B. How do I do that? And once we get this thing downloaded, or downloading, that'll wrap this particular thing, and then we'll come back and do part 2 tomorrow. Oh my word. Yeah. It's not gonna be, I don't think that this is gonna, all right. Yeah, this is gonna be tricky. Oh, heavens, heavens, heavens. What do I get myself into? This is gonna be a make directory. But do I want to, where am I at? Okay. Which directory am I in? Where did, this is the toughest thing, folks. So part of this is going to be me actually just blowing a lot of stuff away. Yeah, and I'm back in the home directory. So this will be just making a directory specifically for this Falcon model. Oh, seriously? Okay. Requires approval? Oh, heavens. Okay. Because, this is just the way it goes. Again, I'm not going to stop recording the video until we've actually got this successfully downloading. Troubleshooting. Account doesn't have explicit access to private or gated repo. Same looking face, RHF login. Share your contact information? What the? Oh, what? I gotta hit agree? Okay, well, you know what? On that note, because I'm going to have plenty of time to figure out how to download this 40 billion parameter model tomorrow morning, I'm going to cut this. So this is going to end up being part 1, and then part 2 after I get all my credentials squared away, because we're nearly at an hour. Yeah. Again, this is the reason why I don't do a lot of this sausage making, why I don't do the cook in the kitchen thing, because this is, if you find this interesting, give me a like, give me a comment, subscribe to the channel. Let me know that even the simple fact that this is dull, dry, and boring, it still has value to you, because it will encourage me to do these types of videos, to continue to just slog on, showing you the way I actually work when it comes to these experiments, and then share with your geeky, nerdy tech friends that there is a guy who is like, way older, maybe way younger, who knows, just taking his Friday nights and his weekends recording these silly off the wall videos. His name's Tim. He does this thing, Tim Unscripted. Just show me some love, show me some support. And for those who are basically commenting and go, well, this is no about, hey, step up, my friend. You show me what you've got, because I've already shown you what I've got. Anyway, so this is the conclusion of this how-to video, part 1. Part 2 is going to be this, figuring out this 40 billion parameters thing, getting it downloaded, and making it, seeing if we can successfully make it run with the, what are we even running? We're doing the infer thing. The stuff that I was convinced was going to work Yeah, the PowerInfer. Okay, the PowerInfer stuff. Wow, just didn't know my weekend was going to be caught up troubleshooting this. Anyway, enough. So I'm putting a box on this, closing it down, tying up the bow. Thank you always for watching another probably very painful episode, a how-to episode brought to you by Tim Unscripted. See you on the next video.